Well, good morning. They put me on early. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. My guest this morning, let me start off from there. Professor Tunde Samuel, who is an APC chieftain. Good morning, Prof, and thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Indeed. And Ken Okulubo, PDP chieftain, a former commissioner in Delta State. Indeed, he also, he's always, contested elections, and I understand that he'll be contesting another one, but I'm not going to say that now. That's not why he's here. He's here. That's not why he's here. But 2019, he certainly will be active in terms of the national scale. But you're very, very welcome, Sir Ken Okulubo.
It's always my pleasure.
Indeed.
Uncle Yori.
Now, Prof, and Ken, I thought we might have a conversation around the coalitions that are forming, or that have been formed indeed towards the 2019 elections. We're not talking about Ekiti. Ekiti is tomorrow, and let tomorrow take care of itself. We've really, all that can be said about Ekiti has been said, even though we have till 12 midnight today. But shifting the focus for a moment before we come back to Ekiti tomorrow, the coalitions that have been formed, I wonder how significant they are. That's what we're trying to find out. How should we take them? We have heard commentaries from both political parties. This time around, APC itself, is no stranger to coalitions. In fact, it arrived in power via the coalition route. And that has been noted by PDP, that formed its own coalition. It quote-unquote, fired the first salvo this time. APC, within, I think, 24, maybe less than 48 hours, has responded by what it referred to as a resurrection of a body that had always been in place anyhow, but needed to be resurrected. So I just want to ask, how are we, the voting public, how are we to take these coalitions? Is it confusing the waters? Is it muddying the waters? Why are they necessary? Well, we can see why it might be necessary in the case of the challenger, but in case of the incumbent, they probably could, maybe go out on their own steam and say that, look, we've done what we've done and we don't need any of that. Prof, would you like to take the first, aspect of this conversation? What do you think the ordinary person on the street is supposed to get from these coalitions that are forming?
Thank you. First and foremost, rational politicians are not afraid of challenges all over the world. So what the PDP is doing with other parties now is not novel.
Indeed, APC started it.
APC started it by metamorphosing into a political party.
Okay.
There's a big difference, Yori.
I take that. I catch that.
Now, nothing is metamorphosing into a political party. In fact, what is happening now is not known to law. It's not. It only has to do with the conspiracy theory. And in the last 24 hours, there has been red signals. 4 of the parties in the alliance have pulled out. That wasn't the same thing under APC in 2015. So we don't compare things that are not similar with one another. That's first and foremost. Secondly,
in regards to the first point that you made, how about that whole matter about freedom of association guaranteed under the Constitution?
Nobody is quarreling with freedom of association. But what I am not comfortable with is that the Nigerian political kaleidoscope today is agog with 2 blocks of characters. You have the political jobbers and scavengers in one block, and you have the rational thinkers and the philosopher kings on the others to move the nation forward. Okay. So
I interrupted too. You said that was the first point you wanted to make.
Yes. The second point has to do with whether the current strategy could make necessary impact on the political space. Whether it can change. Because the situation, the political climate in 2015 encouraged so many forces to come together. it's not the same thing now. Now, the tempo is to, let me say, the focus is to conspire, not through a political party, but an association, an amalgam of several political parties not known to the National Electoral Commission. So they are not talking as political parties now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Ken, I have heard commentators refer to the PDP coalition effort as, no, it's APC that I heard refer to the PDP coalition effort as an anti-Buhari, gang up. Because we're talking about politics here, first of all, what is your commentary on that particular nomenclature? Is it anti-Buhari, or is it about getting like minds together that have some sort of a program of ideas, an agenda to offer the voting public?
Well, it's often said that in politics, we have permanent interest. The only thing that is constant is change. And change always remains a variable in terms of when it becomes constant. Yes, it becomes a variable because it's just simple mathematics. Because your interest and Ken's interest might be far apart in 2015, but in 2019, our interests might come together.
So
and the only thing
it's a dynamic field.
Yes, a dynamic field. You just got it right. What I'm trying to say is, you see, the coalition that was just formed is not new. If you remember, when Olufalaye was supposed to be the candidate, there were three main parties. We had the PDP, we had the AD, and we had not ANPP then, it was AP. And one person flew their presidential ticket, if you remember, against Obasanjo. And that was Olufalaye. And they instructed all the AD people now had to vote for ANPP because the ANPP vice presidential candidate came from ANPP, the vice presidential candidate, the former director of NSO. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that it's not strange. What is happening to APC today is because a lot of strange bedfellows came together to form a coalition that metamorphosed into a party. And now the center cannot hold anymore. And that's why you're seeing the division. We're trying to guide against the same thing, where people who do not have the same political ideology.
Are you referring to the so-called RAPC? When you talk about the division.
I don't think you call it so-called. The RAPC, it's real and has a whole lot of...
It is?
Yes, it's very real.
Okay.
It's not so-called. It has membership that cuts across even from the National Assembly to the state assemblies and even to some states.
Okay, let me remove
some entire states.
Let me remove the so-called.
Yes.
If you say it is indeed a force.
Boubacar Adima was the secretary of CPC.
Let me remove the so-called.
Yes.
But I was just looking at it as a tiny sector.
No, it's not tiny. It's not tiny.
Okay.
What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the present situation we have is very precarious. Nigeria has never been on the brink of an ethnic crisis like we have had in time past, like what we are having now. And now what the coalition is seeming to do is, if you're strong, if I'm strong in Delta, for example, and I'm running for the House of Rep, SDP will not produce a candidate. ADC will not produce a candidate. Are you understanding? That is what the coalition is. They will instruct all their supporters to vote for Ken for that election. And that's exactly what we're saying, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Now you ask me, there are some people that have pulled out. Labour is divided. Labour says they're not part of the coalition, like he rightly said.
Accord, too.
Accord says they're not part of the coalition. Do you understand? But where I will lose sleep is if SDP pulled out, or ADC, or RAPC. These are the three key people. Apologies, due apologies to parties like my friends on NCP. Do you understand? With due apologies. I'm not trying to underrate them. But I would only lose sleep.
Which friend? National Conscience Party?
No, National Conscience Party, the present chairman.
Okay.
Yes. I would only lose sleep if RAPC, ADC, and SDP pulls out of this coalition. As long as those three key parties are not pulling out of this coalition, it is a very formidable and strong coalition. And don't forget that PDP has all its structures in the 774 local governments in this country. And so what we are only doing is that we are carrying these other parties along, because if you notice, a lot of our members, a couple of our members have gone into SDP. Some of these PDP members and the APC members have formed the ADC, which is the Obasanjo-backed party, so to say. That is what it is termed, because he says his sympathies with the party.
Because I thought Obasanjo said he's not interested in partisan politics and
sympathies with the party since that NIM or movement metamorphosed into the ADC. So that is what it is seen to be. Then we have the RAPC, which is very strong. And the RAPC we're very interested in is because most of those people who are in the RAPC were the same people who left our party, but just like the story of the prodigal son, they have come back. And they are coming back. And we are saying, look, you have seen the light of the day, and we're going to welcome you back. The same way we are going to welcome the prodigal son.
Okay, it's interesting you're putting it like this, because our information changes on a daily basis. The last time one checked, people in PDP weren't exactly jubilating.
No, we're excited.
That recalcitrant members of the PDP were returning and are now trying to upset the apple cart.
Let me point that out. I agree with you. They're returning. Will be like, oh, for those of us that were steadfast, why would they be returning and we're all excited? That's why I said the prodigal son. It was a very difficult thing for the brothers to take when he came back. But the father said, look, he was lost and now he's found. Okay. I had to kill the fattest cow and celebrate. So I had to use that example to puncture this what you have just said.
Yeah, very, very interesting, Prof, because you see, Prof, I don't know, there are people like you in all the parties who, are watching the calculations, probably know the calculations better than anybody, and politicians, even though they're not necessarily mathematicians, are indeed calculation experts. They begin to observe what's going on and, throw their formulas into play and begin to use that to predict where we might be going. I don't know, since our APC is, technically speaking, a member of APC. They all are carrying APC membership cards, I would just take for granted. Of recent, we began to hear rumors that have not been confirmed by the Senate President, for instance, that he's interested in the race and he fancies these chances. And people are saying that it's not a loose fancy in the sense that he has Kwara State locked up. How do we try and understand where exactly we are? I imagine it's confusing enough that within the APC, you have to also think of our APC, since Ken has cautioned me that don't call it supposed or so-called. It's a potent force. Would you agree, Prof?
Well, I don't think that is correct. First and foremost, from the angle of legitimacy, who is holding the registration certificate of APC now, today? Is it the reformed APC or the APC proper? That's what I mean. I'm starting from the angle of legitimacy.
Well, actually, before I got my caution from Ken, which I take in good faith, yes, that was exactly the way I was thinking. So our APC is not known to anybody. But I took his caution that, look, it's still a potent force.
I'm not going to bother myself that it's not a force, whether potent or impotent. I don't want to use any adjective to qualify. But the fundamental issue now, nobody is against association of like minds. Two things are at play now. Desperation and conspiracy.
That is the viewpoint from within the APC. It's a question I'm asking.
It's a general viewpoint.
Okay, a conspiracy.
When you are desperate, you will stop at nothing to achieve your objective. I'm not quarreling with that, but I am quarreling
because the APC has been there too.
Yes.
Okay.
And you recall, I told you immediately after 2015 general election, in your studio here, that the Nigerian political terrain is going to be characterized by political perfidy from 2015 to 2019.
Strong words, Prof. Perfidy. Okay, I hear you, sir. Perfidy.
Serious one. And I told you that between 2015 and 2019, you will see the way the political calculus will alter from time to time. Right inside the studio in 2015. And it remains so till today. But that does not explain the fact that reformed APC can claim legitimacy in political lexicon. They cannot. Mm-hmm. If they are able to be registered tomorrow, no problem. If they are potent, they can go ahead and align with any party, with SDP and whatever. There's nothing wrong in that. What I am concerned about is, are we going to continue indefinitely with political jobbery? Because there's no language that I can use.
You think that those behind our APC are political jobbers?
Yes, I've said it in my intro, that there are two blocks of politicians in Nigeria today: political jobbers and scavengers in one block, rational thinkers and philosopher kings on the other side of the divide. We cannot. America has not become a giant.
You're being very scathing, Prof. And when you say scavengers, I have heard others use the word opportunists, but you choose scavengers.
Yes, because political scavengers don't have any. They don't have strong characters, number one, and they don't believe in integrity audit. They don't believe in integrity audit. All they believe in is what my friend has said earlier on, that there's no permanent friend or enemy in politics.
Which you will have really among the first to admit is a truism.
It's a fact, but not to the extent of jeopardizing your integrity as a character. Politics does not say we should not have strong characters.
Even if this jeopardy, as you've just referred to it, is indeed a possibility, would they be jeopardizing anything else of substance? Their own character is their own character. Okay. Would it, in your view, jeopardize, shall we say, the status quo? Can it?
Let me put it this way, Yori. The supposed amalgam of political forces with the PDP now, to me, is a function, I will repeat myself, is a function of desperation and conspiracy.
Well, okay.
To seize, they want to, you can, I'm not saying, I'm not saying nobody, somebody or a party should not go for power.
Okay.
It is
everybody
has the right.
That which you call desperation. Other people perhaps might see it as being strategic.
Strategic? You see, when my colleague here spoke earlier on, he spoke about change. Mm-hmm. But in my 10, 15 years of teaching development studies, change cannot take place without innovation anywhere in the world. Innovation is the icing on the cake of change.
Let me just take off from there. Thank you very much.
Because that was what APC went for in 2015.
Indeed. Taking off
change with innovation.
Yes. I'd like to ask how you see, Ken, what innovation you see that I think it is CUPP that it is called.
CUPP, yes.
Yes, Coalition of United Political Parties.
You're very correct.
What innovation, in your perspective, would they be bringing to the public space?
What I first of all think
because I'm trying to understand.
APC is not a good student of history. If they were a good student of history, they should have learned from the pitfalls we had in PDP. They're acting, in fact, they have gone beyond those same pitfalls we committed, those same mistakes we made that made us lose power, and they're even going far beyond it and giving us every reason to make sure we flush them out in 2019. Why am I saying this? I'll just give 3 examples.
I just wanted to keep it as much as possible.
No, you know why I'm saying this? You will understand why I said it.
No.
Now, Ishe Usani,
yes.
You have denied him participation in any Congress in Kaduna. Ihunkuyi, you've denied him any participation in Congress in Kaduna.
Campaign talk like flushing anybody out.
I'm giving an
just
example.
Wanted your perspective.
No, it's key. You know why it's key? Because they're not good students of history. It's worrisome. Itino Malaya, you don't give him a chance to participate in the Congress. I'm using an example of your National Assembly key members in the Senate. Now, you want to retire them politically. Is that what you're saying? Their governors have taken over the entire structures, meaning that they cannot get tickets on your primary election. If you call it an act of desperation, it's not my business because I'm not in the APC. I find it a bit worrisome that these fellows that you want to retire politically, you don't think they have a chance now to go and express themselves somewhere else. It's like shutting them out. It's like beating a child. They say you beat a child with the right hand and you use the left hand to draw the child. That's exactly what we're told, and that's what we practice as parents. But when you now beat a child and you say after beating the child, you now want to push him into the pit, of course it's like pursuing a chicken. The chicken will definitely react. They are pushing their members to a point of no return. And particularly when at a time that the country is experiencing what it's experiencing. Yesterday, you're aware that 39 people were killed in Sokoto by bandits that crossed from Zamfara to Rabba local government, which just shares a border. And they allegedly withdrew the security agents after 5 days of putting them on alert. It was very clear that the security agents were there. They had been told that they were going to come back to revenge the killings. Aliero said it, the senator from Kebbi, also was supported by the senator from the former governor Wamako from Sokoto. The important thing is, where we are a bit worried here is the protection of life and property is a cardinal thing that the Buhari government owes us. It's the first thing, protection of life and security.
Is this going to my question, which is...
It's going. The
innovation...
That is where I'm going to. The innovation is because all these things are happening. All these things are happening. People are worried. People are scared that we might go into an ethnic crisis. That's the innovation. That is what is bringing about this coalition. If you look at an Olufalaye, please, for God's sake, he has integrity. You can't tell me Olufalaye is desperate. I don't think he wants to run for an office again. I cannot say same of, yes.
When you said earlier that APC was shutting down some politicians, and you're particularly talking about members of the RAPC.
Yes.
You will agree, Ken, that RAPC, in fact, people have said that APC hardly needs any opposition in that within itself, it has its opposition. They, in exercising their rights of freedom of action, thought, speech, had become a veritable thorn in the side of APC. There's nothing, party unity, the kind of norms that any party would require to be successful. These people chose that, look, our freedom of expression, this is who we are. That was a problem. Now, if you say politicians, you said to me at the very beginning that politics is a matter of interest.
Permanent interest? And that change was a constant variable.
And if anything is going to try and derail our objectives, our plans, we have to take legitimate and strategic moves to see if we can evade them. What are you saying is wrong in, not giving to people who want to continue to mess with the party and bring it down the wherewithal to do so?
Now, what I'm saying is that in a political party, you have disciplinary measures, but not to the extent of where somebody opposes your view. You see him as becoming recalcitrant. I mean, PDP, and you heard me condemn PDP. Has PDP suspended me? People have heard me over this country when I condemn the actions of my party.
Condemn is one thing.
Yes, yes.
Destabilizing. Destabilizing.
No. What I'm saying is...
Destabilizing.
When you say destabilize...
Condemn and criticize.
When
of course.
If
you want to go as far as condemnation.
When you say destabilize... Do you see Shehu Sani as someone who... I'm not holding brief for him. Yeah. But from the perspective I see Shehu Sani, do you see him as a destabilizer? Between him and El Rufai, who do you really think is the one destabilizing the APC in Kaduna? The message is very clear that somebody wants to become an emperor. Look, we're benefiting from it.
Okay.
I'm very happy it's happening. Don't get me wrong.
I hear you.
We are happy it's happening because the joy we are having is we are going to be the ultimate beneficiary.
Okay.
And that's why I said APC is a poor student of history. And that is the innovation.
Because APC, according to you, APC didn't learn from the mistakes of your party. From the mistakes of PDP,
party,
the PDP,
yes.
that
because
saw them out of
we
power.
shut out people.
Okay.
We shut out people. We were acting like we were emperors. Internal democracy was absent.
But
we
now,
couldn't allow primaries to hold.
But now you're born again.
Oh, fully born again.
Fully born again. Well, first and foremost, his sympathy for the camp PDP members and the APC. You know, he has cited Melaye, Sonny, and others. It's very interesting to me.
Sorry, sir. Shehu Sani was in CPC.
That a PDP chieftain, that he is, will become an attorney of aggrieved APC members. Very interesting to me.
Well,
very, very
politics
interesting.
Is dynamic and fluid.
Oh, no. The PDP, I know, the issue of dynamism, I'm not sure is in the lexicon of the PDP as a party. When they are quarreling with you, they quarrel with you to the end.
Is APC any different in that regard?
Well, of course.
Okay. The APC doesn't always go for broke.
No.
Okay.
Citing people here now by my friend is very interesting to me. Nobody has asked Sonny to leave APC. Nobody has asked Malaya to leave APC. But what we are saying in APC is that APC as a party cannot tolerate political rascality in any form or shape whatsoever.
But let me take this up, sir. In my own political naivety, yes. I had asked at the time, back in the beginning, why APC was accepting certain applications. After all, nobody could walk in as of right, slam the form on the table and say, get out of the way, I'm a member. APC had the right of refusal. Say, we're still considering it. Yeah. APC welcomed these people because they had an objective.
Yes.
And when I say these people, just about anybody at that time that was not an outright criminal was acceptable to APC.
And you will recall, Mr. Yori, that I told you the same set of people we are discussing now. I refer to them immediately after the 2015 general election as incongruous characters.
But APC accepted the incongruity into its own party.
And I went further to tell you that being children of circumstance, I'm not surprised. You must agree with me.
To be fair, Prof, I remember this very well.
I predicted what is happening right from December 2015, right inside the studio.
But my thinking at the time was that, when you said that, was that, okay, fine. APC probably has a strategy.
I used the word political calculus.
Yes.
On five occasions here.
And I thought that the political calculus, part of it was that APC, in accepting this incongruity at the moment, had, is panacea the word, it had its response to be able to hold everything down. But I think events, that are clear to everybody, unfolded, and APC clearly was very, very unhappy in the sense that effectively it was being actively, until today as we speak, being destabilized by what APC referred to as a lack of party discipline, which, by the way, the new party chairman of APC has said he's going to do everything in his power to bring about that normalcy that I think every party requires, this whole matter of party discipline.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't actually even intruding in the crisis in APC. I said it earlier, but we are trying to benefit from the crisis. Just like you said, it's very strategic. It's strategic in the sense that we are an opposition party now. And to get a ruling party out of a government, we were there for 16 years. You know how difficult it was before we lost power. And we realize it. And so for us to be able to
realize what, Ken?
That it is very difficult to get a ruling party out of power.
And also that at the time, since you said there were mistakes, APC, according to commentators, had virtually...
But my party chairman,
PDP, according to commentators, had ruined... Okay, had ruined
he apologized.
The
he
nation.
Said he was sorry.
Okay.
In what terms now? I'm happy I'm with a professor of economic economy and education. In terms of economy, where are we today in this country?
Okay, you know what? I don't want to, I want to hear it, but I've got to go on a quick break.
All right.
So stay with us, please. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we'll include your calls. Welcome back, and we're looking at the coalitions being formed, that have been formed, and that it's not a continuous matter anymore. They have formed them. There are dissensions here and there. The Conference of United Political Parties, CUPP, which is the PDP, name for those. What? How many of those parties? I think they were saying something.
39.
39 parties.
Yes.
But there have been disagreements. That's no news in politics. The ruling APC has also said, not to be outdone, that it's not as if they don't have a coalition as well, but we're not forming it now. This is something that has been existing, but we're bringing this up now, even though we're angry, those who are behind it, even though we're angry as we're doing so, because there's absolutely no need for this. This is a distraction. Professor Tunde Samuel in the House has referred to it in pretty harsh terms. Some have called it opportunism. He has said he's going beyond that to call it, what is that thing that vultures do?
Political scavengers.
Scavengers, scavengers. So that, there's that. Ken, up to now has said that it's all about interests and strategy,
yeah.
And I brought up the matter of what is going to be new, because you can form these things. People want to know, so what are you bringing? And that has been the question, the point of the PRP chairman. Say, what is new? It's mischievous. It's to confuse and divide the field, but that's his opinion. It might not be your opinion. How is the electorate how seriously is the electorate to take all of this? Prof, again, coming back to you, Ken and his co-travelers, political travelers, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way, must be very, very happy with the way things are at the moment, because that's politics for you. There's confusion here, there will be gains there.
That's part of the trademark of political anarchists all over the world.
Another heavy word, Prof.
All over the
Anarchists.
world. Yes, all over the world.
Okay.
I would want to assure my friend here that because my party has enough rational thinkers and philosopher kings, the job of a rugged politician is not to run away from challenges. It's to confront and tame challenges. And that is exactly what
legitimate means.
Yes, that is what APC as a party will do in respect of this particular.
When you say confront and tame, can I just quickly bring out a charge that Ken made, even though he didn't give it a separate number. Yeah. But he spoke about attempts by the ruling party to shut out and shut down dissenting voices. If indeed you agree with his words, would that be a legitimate method?
There's a lot of difference between shutting down and when you use the word tame, you look at somebody as a nuisance variable within the party.
Okay. You isolate those people, those kind of people.
No, you don't need to. You call them to order.
Okay.
That this party cannot tolerate indiscipline.
And what happens when they don't listen?
That's their own decision.
The party will have a response to that, if it comes to that.
The party as a democratic organ, as a democratic institution, is not expected to be dictatorial. It's to enforce the constitution of the party. Every party in Nigeria, all over the world, has party constitution.
Okay.
We go into the party's constitution and look where people have erred. What are the penalties prescribed in the constitution of the party for such erring or for such nuisance variables within the party.
Because that is if a person is a member of the party.
Well, yes.
That's when it would apply.
Yes.
And our APC in this instance, since the way you explained it,
yes,
is a member of the party.
They are members of the party. He has been able to shed enough light as to why they are behaving the way they are now. Nobody is asking anybody not to become the president of the Federal Republic. Nobody is asking Honorable Dina Malai not to go back to Senate for a second time. Nobody is quarreling with radical but very brilliant Senator Shehu Sani not to go back to Senate. What you are saying is that you cannot destabilize a party and be happy.
Neither can you call the terms that you are willing to work with. There's the constitution for that.
Of course.
Okay, let me bring in Tunde. Is it Ijebu Ode? Tunde in Ijebu Ode, good morning.
Ijebu Ode, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Uncle Yori, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm really enjoying Professor and the other...
Ken Okulubo.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying both Baba and my dear over there. What I wanted to chip in is that is it good to mix black and white together when they cannot flow together? Is it good? Even from the APC end and from the PDP end. So I need an answer to that. God bless you. Good morning.
Well, thank you very much for calling in.
That's really interesting.
Because and I like the way he put it, because when any student of art knows that if you mix black and white, you're going to end up with gray.
Gray, yes.
Depending on the proportion of either of the two colors.
The mixture.
Yes. No, but what Tunde should know is that we've talked about permanent interest. Even while we've talked about permanent interest, we shouldn't lose focus of the fact that today, ideology, you know...
you didn't even quarrel...
We've dealt with ideology.
You didn't even quarrel with Tunde's premise
it's not,
black and white.
No,
that is saying that there's a radical
It's like bringing oil
difference.
and water. It's like saying oil and water,
Thank you very much.
bringing it
First
together.
of all, do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a radical difference, but you see, it wasn't seen to be that when the MPDP left us in 2015, when the 7 governors initially left in anger, and it ended up being 5 governors and 2 others stayed back. The APC welcomed them with open hands. I remember the press conference was laudable, and certain permutations and certain calculations were made, and it was strategic. But be as it is, the important thing I wanted to point out before we went on the break is there are certain reasons why this coalition is coming about. It's because a government, whether you say I should say it or getting out the government in power, a new government is supposed to come in place. And if a new government is supposed to come in place, there must be certain strategies you must use. Economically, I know Prof, like I said before, can't tell us that this government has not failed in terms of economy. And I know we don't have the time to go into that details, but I'm ready to, even though I'm not a student of economy, I'm a student of political science, but I'm ready to debate with him on that issue in terms of economy. In terms of anti-corruption, we have said they have fought a one-sided war, even though I still give them a pass mark to a large extent, but the one-sided war has greatly eroded that pass mark I would have given this government.
Advances have been made in security.
That's what I'm saying. But then in security that I've always given them a pass mark in this studio, even though I've failed them in the other 2. I've always given them a pass mark in this studio. For the first time, I would withdraw that pass mark I've always given them with the headsmen killing, with the killings that have been going on. It's not something we are going to play politics about. It's something that is very, very serious.
We can come back to it because I want to take Mr. Adesina in Ojo. Good morning, Mr. Adesina. Are you still there, Mr. Adesina? Mr. Adesina in Ojo, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Good morning to the Prof and Mr. Ken studio.
Sure.
Morning.
Uncle Yori, I must tell you that the scripture that says the earth divided against itself cannot stand is true. And so, it is also a welcome development that APC tries to put its ass in order, bringing the reconciliation committees to deal with all those agreed members so that they can have that ideology, the original heart, to move the party forward. But at the same time, Uncle Yori, I want you to know that our politicians, they are more about self They are driven by self. If not, why?
Driven by what?
Self.
Okay, self. Okay.
To another. Because capacity is not ideal for our own democracy. It is not the same democracy they are practicing in America, in London. The same democracy is being practiced in Europe, in Western countries. So why will our own be different? Only what we need is that if you have ideology about a party and you believe in that party, nothing will take you away from there, no matter the challenges you have. That's what Prof says. Yes, there are popularity, there are challenges in every party, in everywhere. So you will deal with your own problem. There is no house, no country, no nations, no party without challenges.
Of course.
But then, again, I want you to know that, Uncle Yori, that we must get it from the grassroots. The people that represent us from the council, chairman, to the House of Reps, and down to the president. It's not just about going and capture the president. I mean, trying to coming together, all the coalition come together because of president. No, we must get structures of leaders of pedigree, leaders of repute, that are spiritual, moral, and they are disciplined. That they will take this nation to the greater height, to the Eldorado we wanted, we pray for. And that is why until we do that, we will just keep on going the visual cycles, going round and round and round and round. So we must deal with this situation. Ideology and the people, the parties should tell us, concrete terms, what are you going to do that will hold you accountable to what you have said? If you tell me three agenda alone that you will take this country out of the wood and bring it among committees of nations that will be at the top. Security, economy, then you talk about the rate of education. Because you look at countries who don't have oil, they are making impact in technology and they are going far ahead of us. So, Uncle Yori, this issue of politicians coming together all over, it's not even the issue.
Okay.
If we have
all right.
leaders,
okay.
Let
me interrupt you respectfully, Mr. Adesina. Thank you very much. I got the gist. I got your gist, and I got those aspects that concern you. I might as well say that these are aspects that will concern just about everybody in Nigeria. Let's face it. Whether it is APC, whether it is PDP, PDP dare not say anything different from what you've just said, and I think you will agree.
But he said it now. He said something that will get us out of the woods.
Exactly.
I'm happy he knows we're in the woods.
Okay.
That's one aspect I caught from what.
Okay. Well, he was also speaking about, look, good governance. It's not about coming together. It's about actually being able to walk the talk, not just talking it.
People have said that, are we going to recycle same of same? I think that's where the other caller also came from. Let us know exactly where we're going to. The important thing I would agree with such school of thought is we've had politicians cross carpet. Some have gone to ACN, some have come to PDP, some have gone back to APC, come back to PDP. I don't.
Thereby showing that politicians in Nigeria,
a lack of integrity, and you know that lack of integrity.
Your words.
That lack of integrity is very key when you don't have integrity. Now, it's very key because there are politicians that you refer to as political prostitutes. But when somebody is frustrated, that's the only point I try to make.
He can revert to prostitution.
I'm not saying he should refer to prostitution. But when you have now been pushed...
and the result of desperation.
When you are now pushed beyond the brink.
Desperation, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
What do you now expect the person
when he's been pushed to the wall.
Yes,
when he's been outmaneuvered.
Yes. He has no point of... He's at the point of no return.
Okay.
You know?
So, Prof, I wanted to bring up the matter of... repairing relationships as a possibility. As you know, I think the committee, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reconciliation committee, hasn't been disbanded. Has hope been lost that it can still work the magic? Because Chairman Oshiomhole said that committee will be, enabled in all ways necessary. But before you go, Prof, I understand Dolapo is on the line. Good. Oh, Biola in Bagada, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for calling on. Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, please. Good morning, the gentleman in the studio.
There's no that man now. There's Professor Samuel in the brown buba, and there's Honorable Ken Okulubo in the yellow buba.
Yeah. Let me quickly go straight to my point.
Sure.
What I've understood about these people.
Who?
Moving
Which
around.
people? Which people?
These NPDP, RPDP, RCC, or whatever they call themselves. They think Nigerians are, they think we are still fools. We're not fools anymore. We all know what is going on. Once the loophole is blocked where they are, they want to milk Nigeria at all costs. They run to another place to look for to gang up against the government in power. Is that how it's going to continue? Is that the solution to our problems?
Oh.
They are not doing. I should ask Mr. Ken what they are doing right now. Are they doing it for Nigerians or for selfish interest? Are they doing it for us? Let's be sincere to ourselves.
Well, I imagine, well, clearly you might not be a PDP follower or supporter, because I imagine, but the point I was making is that their followers probably will answer in the affirmative to the questions that you pose. You'll accept? Okay.
Well, I think we answered that question with just our last discussion. That's what we said.
But I wanted to continue with the question to Prof about the Reconciliation Committee. Is its work impossible? Have you given up as a party? Is it not possible still that we might not need our APC anymore by the time the whole reconciliation efforts have come home to fruition?
I think the ultimate of the current reconciliatory effort is to bring about a new but highly durable political schemata for the APC. A schemata that is going to determine the way forward within the party. That's the ultimate of the current reconciliation.
Okay.
Once we are able to evolve a new political schemata for the party, because as at today now,
when you say schemata, Prof,
yes.
I wonder if I could liken it to a restructuring within the APC.
No, not only restructuring. We want a political party must have an ideological bent.
Which I thought APC had.
Yes.
Okay.
But was infiltrated
okay.
by the nuisance variables.
And diffused.
That was why we are having what we are having today. APC initially had its ideological bent. But when you have a combination of incongruous elements, I said it.
They might not respect it.
They will not allow things to work. That is what is happening. It's not that the APC as a party is bad. And we must sift. What we are going to do now is to sift.
Okay, because you know the broad complaint, very, very broad outlines of the complaint of those that came into APC to give it the weight to achieve its objective, are saying that wait, we've come, you've used our coming. Now we're not going to take crumbs. We expect prime cuts. Well, not come and give us.
It's like planning a coup.
You know,
who succeeded.
Mr. Yori, nobody is taking crumbs within the APC.
Okay.
That's an overstatement by anybody.
People have been fairly treated.
Yes, that's the way I see it.
But as you refer to scavengers, they might say it's not enough what they've got. They want it all.
Scavengers will never be satisfied.
They want it all. I think it is Peter. Good morning, Peter in Magodo.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
My name is Peter Owalak. I'm calling you from Magodo, Lagos here.
Great to have you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling you because I saw former commissioner, Mr. I don't know, Okolobu or something.
Yes.
Yes, I think he is my favorite. If he comes to politics, he's someone I respect so much, you know. And I want to talk about what is happening in Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate. APC, you know, they came together to form a coalition, you know, to remove PDP in power. It's unfortunate that they did that out of just coming to, you know, restore power. They never had any plan on ground. And I'm seeing the same thing trying to play back again. PDP coming to say they are coming to take power from APC again. I think I will want to advise the PDP. I'm a supporter of APC. I was the youth. I participated in terms of, you know, bringing APC to power. But today I'm disappointed in what I'm seeing. I think
But you now have the option of PDP and their coalition. Are you considering that?
I will prefer the PDP.
Are you considering that now, since you say you're unhappy?
PDP, they accept their mistakes, and they know what governance means, and I want them to just key into it.
Oh, okay.
And also work in what I call. Look at what Olufala said. They said they are coming together. They'll be ready to sacrifice, and they bring, make Nigeria, a proud nation. And I would say that all youth will rally around PDP this time around, and bring them back, and I'm sure they will learn from their mistakes. Thank you.
Okay, all right then. Okay then. Fair enough.
But he just hit it spot on.
Yeah.
And that's exactly,
you would say that, wouldn't you?
But that's exactly what the average Nigerian would say if you carry out an opinion.
Never mind the average Nigerian.
Never mind
the average Nigerian.
Let me delve again.
Speak for yourself.
Let me delve again with the issue of reconciliation you talked about.
Let
me not go into the issue.
Started off by saying that
I'm not trying to patronize your leader here, Bola Tinubu. But when his committee was formed for reconciliation, what did they do to it? They killed it. It was dead on arrival because he had delved into Kogi and he wanted to find solution in Kogi. They didn't want him to find that solution in Kogi. What I'm saying here is that committee was not even, it was aborted even at the stage of his pregnancy because the APC do not believe in people telling them the truth. That is just what they don't want to accept. They don't believe. They are infallible.
We agreed from the top.
They are beyond.
We agreed from the top that we're not going into campaigning for anything yet. The campaign season is not here
We don't
yet.
accept the truth. You see, the truth about it is that we are in the doldrums, prof. Our economy is a shambles. Naira is 140, is 360 naira. Fuel is 145 naira, sir. We are still paying subsidy. As I'm speaking to you now, we have been rated the poorest nation in the world, poorer than India. We are hungry, sir.
PDP
we are hungry.
PDP is going to reverse.
Tenants don't pay rent anymore. All the houses are empty. As I'm speaking to you, the economy is not growing. We are not able to use the forces of the funds that we are getting. People have not even received salaries just because FAC has not reached a reconciliation.
And all of these
no internally generated revenue. The mining sector, the agricultural sector, the mining sector and the agricultural sector, they said was going to be an alternative, is a total failure.
I think you've made the point, but
Yes.
we need to hear the rebuttal.
It's unfortunate that Mr. Khan is raising this issue. Unfortunate in the sense that it's better for any other person or any other party to discuss this matter, not PDP.
Well,
our economy was better, sir.
No, number one, I've listened to your shopping list. Now, number one, the misery index.
The misery index,
Misery, yes.
the unhappiness of Nigerians.
Yes. I'm using economic terminology.
Sure.
Which is unemployment, sir.
Yeah. Not only employment.
Unemployment.
Inflation
and
and
unemployment.
There are so many indices
Yes, sir.
Of misery.
that will culminate in the
land.
misery index.
Yes.
The misery index as of 2015, when APC took over,
Yes, sir.
was murderous.
But it's higher now today.
Ken,
I'm coming.
Ken.
I'm coming.
You didn't interrupt.
Okay, sir.
The viability of the Nigerian economy as of 2015
Sorry, sir.
could no longer be ascertained because the treasury has gone. That's why I'm particularly not happy and disappointed that it is Ken that is raising that issue.
Of the PDP.
Yes. If you look, let me take Lagos State, for instance. He has raised the issue of not paying salaries. Your party controls Ekiti State. Go and ask how many months they are owed salary in Ekiti. Don't refer to APC alone. Come and ask anybody in Lagos State whether as of today anybody is owing anybody 1 month's salary. I am from this state. I'm an Awori, I'm an Indian.
Lagos and Rivers.
it's
Lagos and Rivers are not owing. Rivers is PDP.
Okay, there's one more caller on the line. Let me just quickly take that. In fact, Yakub is going to be our last caller. Good morning, Yakub.
Very good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
And good morning to Professor Ade Okolego.
I always love when Okolego come to the studio. I always give when pass mark to APC anytime he likes. And then, unfortunately, you withdraw it this morning. I expected that because we are in a politics time now. You see, Chivyori, the truth must be seen here. The person that caused a lot of problem in APC is the former chairman of the party. Reason being that, let me give you 2 examples. For example, look at...
You got to be very, very brief, Yakub.
I will be brief, sir, and then I'll be fast. Let's look at Kaduna State. A station whereby a governor of state put down a party member out, and then he pulled it down. No any response from the party chairman to condemn it. Now, go to Adamawa State.
10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. I'm sorry.
The governor of that state make sure that he pull out all the political gladiators. But the truth must be said here, whether the coalition or no coalition, Nigerian citizens have right to choose whatever they like. And then come 2019, I still believe President Muhammadu Buhari take the call. Thank you and God bless you.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much. Quite frankly, we've completely run out of time.
Yes.
But then again, I think I hope we've been helped a bit to try and understand these coalitions and where to sort of, how we should be thinking about them. Let me just leave it at that. I want to thank you very much, Professor Tunde Samuel, APC Chieftain, and Honorable Ken Okulubo.
Always my pleasure, Kuyori.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So that's our program for today. Our next program is on Monday because we don't do weekends, 10:30 in the morning. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.